So today we're going to be talking about knowledge sharing. We're going to be talking about how you can take your ideas, how you can communicate it to others, and how they can help you build it up. And the same approach goes for improving and developing your skills. So the agenda for today, first things first, you're going to be learning about what knowledge sharing is. I'll go over some examples of knowledge sharing. And then it's going to be about using knowledge sharing to develop your skills. For the business people in the community in the audience, we're going to be talking about using knowledge sharing to improve your startups. But the same approach could be to just use knowledge sharing to improve and develop an idea you're working on. And then, so what on earth is knowledge sharing? It is used in most industries, especially design, tech, in fact, anywhere where there's a team to be found. It's used in our day-to-day interactions. It is simply the exchange of ideas, telling someone what's on your mind, telling someone about a project you're working on. And it can be improved when used correctly. There's one thing telling people and there's just end the conversation there. And then there's another thing telling someone and reciprocating, asking them to give you feedback on that point of view, asking them to help you improve on what you're telling them about, asking them to just help you, break it down a bit more. A lot of business teams, well, a lot of designs teams especially, will have honest knowledge sharing sessions where everyone brings their ideas to the table. They'll destroy it, they will tear it apart and rebuild it up together. A lot of these can be called ideation sessions, team building activities, whatever it is. It's just the opportunity to talk to another person and take your ideas from one stage to the other. So, filling the skill gap with knowledge sharing is the first focus, right? The three things are: what is the end goal? What are you trying to achieve with this skill, right? Is it to become more employable? Is it to, I don't know, just fulfill a hobby you're working on even better? And the other thing to consider is, have you approached it before? And by that, it's an opportunity to reflect on how you approached it previously. So when you're talking to someone about the skill you want to work on, whether it's design, whether it's, hey, I want to learn how to make logos properly, I want to learn how to edit my videos properly, you can have that discussion from the point of view of, this is what I've done previously. And then that person you're talking to has a vision in their head of what it is you're trying to achieve. And if they're an expert in that field, they can already start correcting you and start giving you advice. The other thing to consider is, what is your learning style? A lot of people simply just go on YouTube, watch, try and just digest that information. Some people will watch this video, for example, and try and digest that information. They could be visual learners. There's also audio learners, or people who like to listen whilst they do the activity, right? People who like to be a part of that experience. And tactile learners, people who like to just give it a go and learn from their mistakes. So what is your learning style? What are you going to communicate to this person when you tell them about how you previously approached it? What I'm trying to do is get you in the mindset of, how am I doing this? How do I pitch this vision, essentially? I'm trying to get you to imagine this a bit more. Imagine yourself talking to someone. You could practice talking to yourself in the mirror, or you could just go to mum or dad in the kitchen and just tell them what your idea is, build on that conversation and try and get that feedback and get an idea of what it's like to communicate it. So here's the thing: finding the right people, right persons to help you. Now, this is really hard because you have to open up to people. You have to essentially let someone know you don't know how to do something. And that's very uncomfortable for people, especially in this day and age where social media is rife with everyone pretending they're rich, or everyone pretending they've got what it takes and all this. And in many cases, that's not true, right? So it's really hard to be vulnerable and say, hey, I need help with someone. But you need to get used to that. If you really care about this skill you want to develop, you need to get used to being vulnerable. And as part of that experience, it's a case of, well, how do you approach this? Well, we've got different ways of, reaching out to people and getting their help. You've got open source. Now, this could be just doing a Instagram story like I did for this event, right? Even on my personal channel, I posted it, hey guys, please join. You can do your close connections, where you can actually reach out to friends and family, help them, ask them to help you spread the word. Or targeted. Why don't you go to the experts yourself? Go to a university tutor, go to someone who is on their social platforms doing it, doing what you want to achieve and learn. Those are the three essentially main ways you can take this, and they all, spread out into their own branches. Now, open source, for example, could be also putting a LinkedIn post up and then just going, hey, I really need help developing this skills, or I want to do this. And LinkedIn being the kind of space it is of everyone trying to prove that they're worthy in many ways, it's also the kind of space where people want to show their worthiness by helping you. So that's a really good place to start if you're trying to develop a skill, to be honest. Take away the fear of, oh, will it make me look bad to employers? Well, no, it makes it look like you're the kind of person that'll be honest and let them know that, hey, I really need to develop the skills. You're a developing person. You're someone who's willing to grow, not someone who's just stuck in their way they are thinking they're perfect. Next is understanding if that person can help you, right? Now, I've written out 4 key things to consider. It is, what are their key capabilities and skill sets? Why are they worth talking to about this skill you want to develop? Or is it just someone you know? Well, that's fine. Maybe they can help you reach someone with the capabilities and skill sets you need. So the vision I'm going to pitch now is I really want to learn how to edit a video. The best profession for this would be a videographer. So if I went for the targeted approach, I'd look for someone who's a videographer, someone who's on, I don't know, LinkedIn or Fiverr or something, pay them to teach me, I guess. But then the one after that is, well, how experienced are they? You need to consider how long have they been doing this skill that you want to learn, or how long have they been doing this approach or been trying to learn as a beginner, for example, how long have they been trying and failing? Now, this isn't a case of if they've not been doing it for 5 years, don't talk to them anymore, leave them. No, that's not the approach. If they have been doing it for 1 year, okay, fine. In that 1 year, how did they start? What have they struggled with? Because if you're in your first year of learning the skill, you want to compare your experiences to theirs, and then your knowledge sharing. You turn them how you did it, and then they can tell you how they did it in their first year. You can essentially grow together. So someone who's got a lack of experience is not a case that they're not useful to you. They could be a partner on this journey. They could be someone you can work with to develop your skills together. Or you can exchange skills, for example. They might be doing something else, but they might have a learning strategy that you can benefit from. We all know the people who have a very low boiling point. I'd say even I used to be that kind of person, jump to conclusions, very aggressive. People who are also very cutthroat, just say things how they are and they might hurt your feelings. Or people that are just really nice, really softly spoken, just lovely to talk to. Now, there's positives and benefits to both sides of these types of temperaments. You can have someone who's really softly spoken to, but that person might just massage your ego all the time and make you think everything's perfect and not actually tell you what's wrong, what you're not doing right. So you need to look for someone that essentially will tell you how it is, but communicate it properly. Not aggressively, communicate in a way where it's actual feedback, where it's beneficial feedback. Now, you might see that more on someone who's quite aggressive, and you might see it as, oh, they just get straight to the point. But that person could also be overly aggressive and might put you in an uncomfortable situation where you don't feel like taking that information in anymore. You just feel attacked. So you need to consider your temperament as well as the person you're going to be communicating with. They don't have to be a clone of you. They don't have to talk and communicate in the same way you do. You have to find someone who does it in a way that you can digest without feeling attacked. Or if you do feel attacked, you have to be in a position where you can tell that person that, hey, there's nice ways to put it. You want to be in the right mindset to be able to absorb the information. And you want to be in the right mindset to give back the right information. You don't want to be told your idea is crap. You don't want to be told that, hey, you're terrible at editing videos. Because what could come out of the back of that? What could come out of the back of being told that you're terrible at editing videos is if you're teaching that person, I don't know, how to run a business, you might start attacking them now and start going, oh, you're terrible at running businesses as well. That's not the right way to do it. That's not the right way to knowledge share. You want to be in a situation where you can take things back and forth, work together, right? And then after that, it's availability. So let's say you're getting closer, you found someone who's got the right skill sets or a skill set you can benefit from at this stage. They've got an experience that you can also benefit from at this stage. And temperaments, you're working on it. It's not perfect, but you're working on it. Their skill sets and experience outweighs how mean they are to you sometimes, and it's fine. Okay, then availability. Well, how are you going to meet up? Are you going to meet up weekly, bi-weekly, or ad hoc basis? Do you want it to be someone that you can reach out to any time you need some help and they can help and, support you? Or do you want it to be a case of on our lunch breaks, because we work together, let's just meet up then? You need to consider that. And how you consider that is try and understand what their schedule is first. You already know what your schedule is. You already have an idea of when you're available and you're not. But if you really want to learn this skill and you really want it to come from this person, understand what their schedule is first. You don't need to do it back and forth of when you're available. Well, I'm available this day. Just this week, what day is best for you? Once they confirm the day, or whether it's next week or not, once they confirm the day, okay, then you respond with, well, these are the times that are good for me in these dates. What time works best for you? And now they've got a range they can respond to you within. They can tell you, I don't know, lunch times are good for me. That's fine. You've now got a schedule you can work to. You've now understood that person's availability. Or my calendar's a bit hectic and I'm not too sure when I'll be next available. That's also okay. You kind of look at it and go, right, well, we can have our first session on this day and then work on, once that session's done, schedule the next. Now incentivizing. What core values are you going to give to the person? What core values are you going to share? It doesn't always have to be about money. It doesn't always have to be about paying someone to learn a skill. A lot of us pay to go to university and assume that we're paying to develop a skill or develop an experience, and that's not always the case. You're kind of paying to also meet the right people and get the right contacts. And they're already paying for their experience, and you're a part of that experience. Same as working somewhere. You don't pay to work somewhere. They pay for you to work there. So money doesn't have to be the incentive to be in the right position to get help from people. Rather, it's what you call values. Does that person really care about the environment just like you? Have you got a common thing that makes you friends? Or you might have similar interests. It might be a case that person wants to learn how to do their accountancy because they're working on this charity idea and they don't understand the money. But you're good with money. But you don't understand how to do the logos and the creatives and marketing. But they're good with that kind of thing. Right, so you've got shared interest there and you've got shared project that you could probably learn skills of. And that becomes, a common value you can work on. But that also links to what I'm going to talk about next, which is skill swapping. It's sharing skills, and in conversations, you'd ask each other, what have you been up to? How did you get to where you are now? And you could talk about something, and then it gets interesting, and I could say, hey, I'm Sam, really good with money. And they could say, hey, I'm really good with design and marketing, and I've been doing this. Like, oh, that's interesting. I need a bit of help with that. Let's swap skills. I can, help with your business, help with your forecasting. And in exchange, how about you teach me how to make logos or something? That's a skill swap right there. That's an incentive for that person to keep working with you because they can keep growing through your journey, through your experience, and you can keep growing through theirs. And you've now got someone that you can work with going onwards. So creating a routine you can rely on. Now, this is focused on embracing openness, honesty, and aligning your work styles, right? You need to be clear of what you can achieve and what you can't achieve, what you're capable of and what you're simply just not capable of. But first, you set your goals. What do you want to do? What do you want to learn in the long term? What do you want to learn in the short term? I'll give an example of when I was starting to learn how to do web development. I wanted to learn how to do everything straight away, and that's not the approach. I wanted to learn how to do front end, back end, everything else, buying all the courses possible so I can learn everything within a week because I'm very impatient. That's not achievable. When I started talking to people who do web development, people that I worked with in the previous company I was at, they started telling me about their experience and how they got to where they were. And a lot of them were telling me about how they just started small, building a one-page website. So they helped me to shape that short-term goal of, well, if this is how long it took you, let's say 3 years to get you experience, let me set my short-term goal of what can I achieve within the first 3 months. Cool. Now I've got my first 3 months locked down. Well, what did you do within that first 3 months? Well, you learned how to build a one-page website. So now that's my short-term goal. But you also need to realize what the long-term goal is. So what would I learn how to do by the end of the year? Well, I want to learn how to build that website and then add a contact form to it. And then that contact form will essentially send something to a back end. So how about we work towards that? So first 3 months, let's learn how to do the website. And now I'm getting my short-term wins. I'm getting, the endorphin boost from I've achieved something. And honestly, that's the approach I took. And it was amazing. It worked well for me. I'm still learning, but I'm enjoying the small wins. I'm enjoying each short-term goal. And the short-term goals are basically a breakdown of the long-term goal of becoming fully proficient in web development. Does it benefit me? Yeah. I built our website. Do I still have things to learn? Yeah, because I built our website and there's things that need to be improved on it. But it's all a learning experience, and I have my long-term goal of being fully proficient, the long-term goal of being able to have in-depth discussions with the devs that support and help us. Well, what else could I ask for, right? Everything's going to plan for me. Now, the next thing is once you've worked with the person that's helping you develop your skills, you've now agreed on the where and the when. You haven't? That's fine. How are you going to do that? You've got 2 options, really. In-person or virtual. Now, what COVID taught us is you don't have to physically see someone to be able to communicate with them all the time. We've got access to Google Meet, which is free. You've got access to Zoom, which has a free plan. You've got access to our Discord community, where you can talk to people. There's different ways of approaching things. And each one has its benefit. Virtual, you can do it anytime, anywhere, as long as you have an internet connection, right? Or some kind of mobile connection. In person, you have to plan it a bit more. You have to meet in person. But in person, you can read people's body language a bit more. Naturally, I'm quite anxious. So when I just do audio chats, I have to infer what people are saying. I have to kind of just pretend I get what they mean, and they might mean something differently. Or, for example, if someone texts me, I'd read the message in whatever emotion I'm feeling at the time, and that's not good. So in person helps someone like me a lot because I can read their body language. I can share an idea with them, the skill I want to develop. And whilst they're talking, I can kind of read whether they're uncomfortable, whether they're kind of frowning or looking at me like, what's this guy chatting about? Through an in-person experience, I can kind of learn that, okay, I'm saying the right things, I'm saying the wrong things, but there's some areas I need to pick out on later in the conversation because they displayed a bit of discomfort. But virtual is really easy to meet everyone. So I can do that, but I don't get full benefit of reading people's body language and getting an idea of how they feel about what I'm saying. People thrive in different ways. If you're quite introverted, you might prefer a virtual experience. If you're quite extroverted, you might prefer an in-person experience, or you both, wherever it is. But in this situation, it's a case of finding a comfortable medium. If you prefer an in-person experience, but the person you're trying to develop from or with is someone who prefers virtual experience, well, consider mixing it up. Consider the virtual experience being like your regular meetings, and that's fine. And then consider the odd lunch like meetup, maybe meet up for a coffee where you can just chat, where it doesn't have to feel so formal as an in-person. That soothes your needs as well as it soothes theirs. Timings. How regularly do you want to meet, right? Do you want to meet on an ad hoc basis? And that takes us back to before, what I said before. How comfortable are they? What's their availability? Now, when you're trying to create a routine, you need to pick a good timing structure. It could be ad hoc, but if it's ad hoc, you need to set milestones, goals you want to complete, goals that trigger the next meeting, for example. You don't just leave it because it's very easy to say, oh, we'll catch up when we catch up, and you never will. In most cases, you forget about it. You just get lazy and comfortable. And I've done it before. I'd rather play Xbox, or I can't be asked to set another meeting. But I'm lucky to have mentors that prefer routines. Catch up with me every month, catch up with me every 2 weeks. And for me, that works a lot better, having someone go. So having someone be a lot more temperamental, a lot more aggressive, and kind of just going, meet me at this time. I'm kind of like, okay, let's do this. But you will also get people who are kind of blasé, and if you do ad hoc with them, it won't go well. You need to be the one to encourage a regular meeting with them. In general, regular meetings are better. It helps you maintain a good pace. So yeah, regular meetings are good. You can progress smoothly. But in some cases, ad hoc meetings are better because the person's availability is a bit scattered. Regular meetings, you can say, let's just catch up, and every time we catch up, we can, assess where we're at. But on an ad hoc basis, you need to set milestones. What have I achieved? Now, if you can use the ad hoc approach for regular, you're going to be smashing it in your skills development. If you're able to if you're able to say, okay, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to achieve this, and whatever you achieve is going to be an upgrade from your previous session, you're doing well. But it's fine if you fail. It's fine if you get to that next meeting and say, hey, I couldn't do this. Don't get comfortable with it, but it's fine. Don't feel like, oh, I can't have this session because I've not achieved this. That's what I'm trying to say. But try and get comfortable with the idea of pushing yourself so you can actually meet that goal on time. If you turn up to that session and, I don't know, you haven't achieved your goal, that's okay. That's an opportunity to reassess your learning style. Is it working for you? Is the approach you're taking working? And have that conversation with that other person. Try and get an idea of, well, in this situation, what they're doing to fix it. And you might be in a position where you both just go, I actually don't know how to fix this. And that's when you start bringing more people in. That's when it becomes a knowledge sharing group, which I'll talk about a bit more in terms of building up ideas and businesses. That's when you start building up. That's when you start escalating things and you start creating your own community, your little club. That's pretty much it. That's when it grows. It grows out of hand sometimes, but in many ways for the greater good. Now, reinforcing. Something that works for me that I really hate doing is setting forfeits. Now, for example, with my girlfriend, I basically told her that, hey, I'm going to have a system. I'm going to make sure that I'm up at, 6:30. But most importantly, 6:30 in the morning, that is. But most importantly, I'm going to not start any work after 8. If I do, I have to be done with that work by 12 o'clock. Why? Because I hyper-focus a lot. I've been known to sit behind my computer and work from 12 in the afternoon to 7 the next morning. Many times without not stopping to eat. What that does to me is the next time when I'm at work, I'm struggling. But when I'm back in this zone, I'm so hyper-focused. It's not a healthy relationship to have with my work. It's not a healthy relationship to have with the people around me. So I started setting, timings of when I'm going to cut off by, and if I do break that rule. But the forfeit I put in place was, right, we're going out this weekend. If I break this rule, I'm buying your drinks, all the drinks that night. That's a big forfeit for me because I didn't want to do that. So I was definitely done at 11:59. I switched off my laptop. So that works for me. For that person, it might be a challenge. I don't know. You have to buy them a gift, or it might anything. Once you start knowledge sharing with someone, once you build a relationship, you get quite comfortable with each other. You get quite, friendly with each other, and you can get to know what jokes and stuff you can have flying around and what a fun forfeit could be, I guess, or something you don't want to do. Also, setting regular reminders. Even on an ad hoc basis, you can set reminders for the tasks you need to complete because you need to have some kind of cadence. The meetings can be ad hoc, but your achievements need to be regular. They need to be timed. So you want to take your idea to the next level. You want to build it up. That's fine. Now the things to consider, similar to the first one, the expected experience outcomes for your idea. And why I say that isn't not how you want to do it. I want to make an app that connects pets with their owners, right? I want to make an app that people can, enjoy or see their pets anytime. That's an approach towards the actual outcome. What the outcome really is people love their pets and they feel like they need to be closer to them. Try and focus on what the experience outcome is of the idea. What would that make the user feel? And that goes on to the next one, the clarity of the idea. Keep working it out. And this is hard to do. This won't be fixed. Don't think you would have fixed this before you started telling people about this. You won't. You fix this by talking to people about your ideas, by being open. And I know that's hard to do because a lot of people are scared about the ideas being taken. But here's the rule to follow. If you really care about the idea, then let the idea be more important than you. If you really care about the idea and you think you're the best at it, then stand by that. Be comfortable sharing the idea. Because even if someone takes it away from you, you know for a fact that you would have done it better than anyone else would have. Be comfortable with sharing your ideas with people that you want to work with you. Start building that trusting relationship early. And the next thing is controlling your ego. Now, that takes us back to taking the idea from you and making the idea a bigger thing than you. Control your ego, tame it. You're not trying to tell someone how amazing you are, how smart you are. It's about the idea. So when they start giving you feedback about it, take it as advice, take it as knowledge and compare it to other information, right? Not everyone will give you 100% great feedback. A lot of people tell stories and give feedback based on their personal experiences. And in many cases, our experiences are limited to the fact that they're ours and not something that everyone goes through. So it's limited with the information that's in there. So compare different points of view. Try and reduce the limits by taking information from other people when you share your ideas. And that's the benefit of starting a knowledge sharing group rather than just doing it with an individual. When you're trying to build up a startup idea, it's much better to have a group than just one individual working with you. Some partnerships are great, that's amazing, but still, as a duo, try and find more people to support you. Starting a knowledge sharing session. Similar approach to before, we're going to use what we have. Use your socials, use your LinkedIn, use anything. It's an open approach just like before. Be approachable, be honest and approachable. Don't be scared about someone taking your idea from you. Be clear about your idea. Be happy to communicate this idea. Be happy for people to come to you and give you feedback on it. I think it's quite common for people to hate getting feedback when they haven't asked for it because it just feels like an attack. And in many ways, it is annoying. So if you're not trying to share an idea and someone is doing that to get at you, just let them know that, not right now. But if you do want someone to help you improve your idea or you do want your idea improved, just pause for a bit and listen. So be honest and approachable. Be clear on what what the experience outcome is. Develop that experience outcome as you talk to people about it, as they help you clear out. Or how would you feel using a product like this? Or how would you feel, trying to achieve this goal? Be clear on what you're trying to do, and then the honesty and approachable nature will help you fine-tune the idea itself. That helps you improve the clarity of the idea. The other thing is start simple. Now use us as an example. When I started Anxious Extrovert, I wanted it to do everything at the same time. I wanted it to have a clothing line. I wanted it to have all the apps available. I wanted to go on all the social channels. It's a bit crazy. We should have started simple, and we're doing that now. We're starting with building our audience through Evolve, the knowledge sharing platform we've just created. We're starting with reaching out to friends and family. We're starting with knowledge sharing outside our group to get feedback from people. So start simple. Start with the easy things, the things that you can do now within your means, and work your way from there. Don't just tell them the grand plan. Tell them the experience outcome. That's starting simple, and then they can help you build out the grand plan over time. Characteristics to look out for when you're starting a group. Now, this is different to when you're starting a team. When you're looking for individuals, still look at all those stages I talked about when you're trying to find an individual to help you improve your skills, or someone, group, or whatever it is to help you improve your skills. Thinking about the temperaments, the availability, all that stuff, that's important. But when you're trying to look at a group setting, diversity is important. I'll go into more details about it later. But the benefits of having a diverse group is that our experiences are limited by the fact that they're our experiences and not everyone's. So not everyone has the same answer for the same question. And how you fix that is try and bring people in from different points of view and different experiences. People that sometimes you wouldn't get along with, but their insights might help with the idea you want to develop. So that's why diversity is important. Don't look for carbon copies of yourself. I wouldn't go and look for every person that is Ghanaian, person that, is a hyper-focused individual who gets a lot of work done, but I look for people who are more chilled, sometimes people who are opposite to me. I'd also look for people who have the skills that can be a part of that group. And that's where we go down to capabilities and skill sets. Looking for individuals that can actually help you because they have the skill sets to help you. You can still open up to people about your ideas. If right away they don't have the skill sets you need, that's fine. Ask them if they know someone who does. Chances are they do, right? By spreading the word, eventually someone will come back to you. You'd create an inbound marketing effect. You spread the word, someone sees it, someone hears about it, they reach out to you. In many ways, that's how I've got to know people. It's by just being open about what I want to achieve, and then someone going, hey, I know someone that can help you. Reach out to them on LinkedIn, or I'll get them to reach out to you. That's the kind of approach. So capabilities and skill sets isn't limited to the first person you talk to. Next one is temperaments. Same as before, focus on how easy are they to work with, and not just with you, but within a group. You're going to have diversity within your groups. There's going to be people that won't get along. It's just the way it is. That's something that will limit your decision around making groups, because you don't want someone that's so disruptive that everyone hates. So you do need to watch out for that. Temperaments in a group setting, you've got to have a cutoff point. And then the one at the bottom, work styles. And I'll definitely be going into that into more details, because you will experience work styles in every situation. You're in every group setting, not just when you're trying to start a business idea. You experience the two main types, which are the lone wolves and team players. You're trying to start a business idea. How do I convince people to help me? Now, I managed to convince Ollie and Sarah to help me for free. I did that through shared values, core values that we care about. And we care a lot about well-being and mental health. That's why we started Anxious Extrovert, the brand that creates the tools and services that connects people, services and experiences to improve their mental well-being. That's why we've created Evolve, the space where we can help people actualize their goals. That's why we're part of this big journey together as a trio in terms of getting things done and reaching the end goal of helping as many people as possible. And why that's a core value is because it's something that all three of us have had a heavy experience with. In many ways, I'm glad I had mine because it's led me to here. Maybe one day I'll tell the story around that. I'm not sure. Maybe one day. The next one is shares. Okay. The promise of money in the future. And that's also something I've implemented. I've promised these guys that one day we're going to unlock these shares. One day we're going to buy an island and Ollie will have his farm and all these things. We'll achieve those goals. And don't just say it for the sake of attracting people. Say it because you have an idea of how you're going to do it. Say it because you spoke to them about how you want to do it and they're comfortable with it. Get an agreement on these incentives. Don't just say it and assume that, oh yeah, they nodded, so it's fine. Ask for their feedback on it. Ask for some kind of tacit compliance of, okay, this is worth doing. Or exchanging services. This is usually when someone's already working on their idea and you can work on yours. So these are the things to consider. Incentives, core values, shares, exchanging services. Why I haven't spoken about money straight away, paying someone to be in your group, is because that's not a core group member. That's an employee. You can treat your employees like family, but the incentive is paying them. They don't have a shared core value within what you do. There's no long-term promise. There's nothing to keep them there for their longevity. So money isn't here in this situation because your group shouldn't be solely based on paying someone to help you build out an idea. That person will leave when the money's gone. You need people that care about the idea enough to give you honest, clear feedback because they care about it so deeply, they want the idea to succeed. Not they care about it so deeply, they want to make sure they get paid this week. So a closer look at lone wolf and team players. Now, I'm talking about the extremes of both ends, right? I'm talking about the real, reclusive people. They don't want to talk to anyone. On the other hand, the real extroverts, people that, outgoing, jumpy, excitable. You can't pin them down. Now, they have benefits as well as drawbacks. The benefit of the lone wolf, self-reliant, they will get the work done on their own. But they're shut off from the group. That's a drawback. They don't really communicate. So it's great that they're doing the work, but they're not sharing with anyone. So where's that work going? We see that they get all the stars, all the gold stars and everything, but what on earth is going on there? How is the group going to grow and develop? How are we going to share our experiences if you're not talking to us? On the other hand, our team player, excitable, great in group situations, makes everyone happy, but they don't really get much done on their own. You come back to a meeting and they're amazing, great energy, but it's also, what did you do whilst we were away? Did you achieve the goals? No, you didn't, because you need someone. What do you do? What do you do in these situations? Well, it's quite simple for both of them. It's encouraging collaboration. If you've got two that are existing within your group, make them collaborate. In one way or another, you need to slowly coax them into sharing experiences with each other. You set a responsibility that they both share, and then you have to work with them. It's hard work. So you've got to consider this. Is it worth doing? Is it worth bringing them together, or are they fine on their own as it is? It's the idea winning. Like I said, the idea is bigger than you. So this is going to be hard work. If you feel like there's bigger value, it's better for the group cohesion, the togetherness of the group, that they work within that group. Then it's a case of putting the work in, work with them to collaborate, work with them to share a vision together, work with them to share wins and losses together. Now, if you've got one or the other, the same thing goes. Put them with someone in the group that can probably help you do this better, that can help you drag the right mindset out of them. So you want that lone wolf to have group think, right? You want that lone wolf to have great energy when they come into your sessions, as well as you want the team player to be more independent, self-reliant, to get things done. Now, imagine if you have a whole team of these types of people. Your goals would just be smashing themselves, to be honest. If all else fails, consider a realignment of values. What do we need to give you? What incentives do we need to give you? What is your life story? That's me pretending to talk to a lone wolf or a team player. What is your life story? Why did you join the team? Okay, understood. Well, this is how this project we're working on, this startup we're working on, can help you achieve that. Do you believe it can help you achieve that? Great. Okay, let's work on a plan where, we can realize this is more, we can make it more apparent to you. Because now we're dragging out enough value that person has to get out of their comfort zone to be able to help you achieve this goal. You need to basically use realignment of values to understand how you can get someone to go, it's worth being uncomfortable. It's worth talking to this group as much as I hate doing it. And through practice, it'll become a new norm for them. And you might have an annoyingly extroverted lone wolf who's now an amazing team player. But the greater win is that work's getting done, goals being achieved. And that's what we want at the end of the day. The group dynamics to look out for. Now, earlier I talked about diversity. That's amazing. Now, the true benefits of diversity is that it improves the likelihood of innovative ideas. And why it does that is because people come in from different points of view, different experiences. I'll use my story once again as an example. I was born in Ghana. I moved to the UK around 2003. For me, I was moved from a situation I was very comfortable in into a situation that I wasn't so comfortable in. I had to pretend, being a black person, come from Africa, I wasn't aware of how bad racism was, especially at my age, until I came to the UK and realized that, people are actually being mean to me because of the way I look. So I'm able to share the experience of someone who transitioned from one experience to the other, someone who would be able to say, okay, this is why I don't take offense to so many things, because I've basically just grown up like this. Compared to someone who's lived here all their life and won't be able to simulate that in their head because they've not gone through it, right? They've not had to move countries or all these things. They've not had to learn a new accent. They've not had to be able to tell that this person's northern and this person's from down south. And honestly, I still can't hear accents properly. So you've got people with different points of views, different mindsets within the group. Within a diverse situation, openness and honesty is one of the most key things, because what you're doing is allowing people to share their vision, share their experiences without feeling like they're going to get shut down. Because in many ways, that's what stops the whole idea of cognitive diversity working. If you want people who are exactly like you, go find your clones, go find people that are within the friendship groups you've had for decades. You want an idea that can reach the world, that can get interactions from the rest of the world. Well, you need to understand people that are from the rest of the world, that are from these different interactions and experiences. You need to have people that are from these points of views in life, because what they will do is from the get-go help you build out a product that's sensitive to all these different variables, that's different to all these experiences and approaches, a product that's more interactive for more people, rather than just for people who are just like you, which is what you end up doing when all you do is work with your best mates from start to finish. You need to get feedback from other people. So more on the transparency and honesty. This is amazing in many ways, because not only does it help you fill missing gaps in your ideas, it helps you create a situation where everyone in your team is working at the highest level. because anxiety is a big deal and people don't recognize it. I think stoicism is something that's quite popular and it works in many ways. Stoicism being, being calm, collected, not showing too much emotion, it works, but it's not used properly these days. Stoicism is more about, being calm and collected and taking information the right way, which is something you need to be able to do when you ask for feedback. So you're not, changing, you're not influencing how someone gives you that feedback by frowning so much, by being so aggressive. Just hold yourself together, take it in, because you want them to give you all the information that's in their mind without manipulating it to make you happy. However, in a situation like this, people tend to be quite stoic because they're scared of how they might come across. They're scared of being vulnerable. So what happens to transparency and honesty? If you start off with just being honest about what you're capable of doing, what you're not capable of doing, how's your week been today? Open up about your well-being, something that we're big fans of. How's your week been today? Stressful. Start a conversation about asking about how everyone's doing. Be open and honest about what you think about the world today, how things are going, start a discussion. And what you're doing is making everyone else comfortable about opening up, being themselves, working in an environment where they're so comfortable, they're just shining, where they're comfortable to make mistakes so you can help them improve it, so they can help you improve your mistakes. You want to create a group that's so cohesive, that's so comfortable, that they are knowledge sharing at the highest level because their brain has no barriers, right? The brain has no anxious barriers. They're just flowing with ideas and everything's running smoothly because you're drawing out the best performance out of everyone in your group. As you adjust over time, you start to learn what people's limits are and what they're not, what cadences people want to work with, what kind of group situations people are okay with appearing to, and all these things. And use that to create a rule that everyone agrees to. Okay, every Monday we're going to meet up, or every other Monday we're going to meet up. That's a set rule. Break that, forfeit. Being kind to one another. What will you tolerate and not tolerate? What's not okay in your group? What is something that will definitely get you kicked out in the group, right? You don't want someone who's just overly touchy, someone who's just making people uncomfortable. You don't want to get so far in your group that someone just comes in and just destroys the group. Setting these rules and cadences also helps you in terms of when the group goes out to help you find more support. When they go, hey, we don't really have a designer within this team and we really need one, and they go and find someone, everyone naturally has a set of guidelines that they find someone to align with. Or if someone breaks that, they can come to the group and go, oh, this person's so amazing, they're great designing, but they can't meet us on Mondays like we want to. Okay, now the group can have a discussion about it. Is it worth working with this person? Okay, cool. Let's meet them. Let's try and work it out differently. Let's move them Monday. Let's all meet them, for a lunch at a time that works for them. And let's build up from there. And then maybe through that, you can then work with this person to align them to either fit in your group's rules, or the other way around. You can adjust the whole group's rules because this person's so amazing, they're just worth it. Phases of team development. This is something that I promise you're going to go through. It's not something that can be missed. It's something you're going to go through no matter what. And this is the forming, storming, norming, performing, and added but not taught in many business skills, adjourning. These are the phases where you go from pretending you like each other to hating each other and then actually liking each other, where you start doing well because everyone kind of understands how each other works. And at the very end is the adjourning, where we've done the project now and okay, let's just think about how it's gone. Let's reflect. In the first stage is forming. Everyone's joining because, an individual's brought them together. We're kind of not sure what the vision is, but the version we were told we really liked. Not sure how I fit in this group. I've just met all these people recently, or I'm just getting to know people. I don't know where they're from. I don't know much about them. Then you go on to storming. Okay. I need to find my place in this group. I need to be amazing. I need to stand out. Like, we're going to be talking about shares later. I want to earn my shares. Like, I really care about this idea, but I also want to make sure that I'm getting my fair share out of this. I'm getting my rewards out of this. Oh, this person's competition, they're very aggressive. Lack of participation. I don't want to work with you. I don't want to work in this group. They're horrible people. I want to achieve this goal still, so I'll still hang around. The norming, you get past that. You start thinking, okay, I get what we're trying to do here. I get that the group work's important. Let's do this. Let's just get it done, right? I'm relaxed. I get you. Sam opened up yesterday. It was amazing. I'm going to be a better person now. I'm just going to get more involved in the group. Awesome. And now you've gone past your norming. Now you're going to performing. Everyone gets each other so well that they're doing amazingly. The joining, it's done. We've got to the stage we wanted to get to. The business idea is doing well. The startup's doing well. It's doing well enough that maybe we can, start getting the rewards. Some people have got to the stage they wanted to get to in the group. They've helped enough people now. They've helped the kind of people they wanted to help. And now it's time for them to start their own idea. They've used this opportunity to develop their skills, and now it's time to move on. It's a sad moment because you kind of look back and you kind of think, this could have been great. Everyone's going now. It's all over. Or you kind of look back and you reflect, tearful moments when you're stood at your after party, your launch party, thinking, "Oh, it's amazing," but yeah, we really deserve this, and everyone's getting emotional at how hard they tried. But then you have to say goodbye to some people because you've reached a stage where they don't fit within the group anymore. It's always sad at the adjoining stage. It's like a bittersweet moment. I'm going to show you now how, using all the learnings we've talked about today, taking all that information in, I'm going to show you how you can use that to manage these stages, essentially. So then you can calmly float between the norming and performing stage up until you're done and you can reach adjoining. I'm going to show you how you can use what we've learned today, right? Forming. Everyone's on clear, socializing, but, pretending to like each other. If you've brought them into the group, take the lead. Take charge of the situation. Now, one thing I didn't mention earlier, but I should have, is in terms of honesty and transparency, you might be the problem. If the idea is bigger than you, and if someone else in the team is better at leading than you are, let them lead. Alternatively, have a flat hierarchy. Everyone has a fair say. An anxious extrovert, I think we're all amazing leaders within our own rights. So we have a flat hierarchy. Everyone has to say, we take votes on ideas. I pitch ideas to the team. They'll throw it in the bin. I'll say it's fine. And then I'll just, move on to something else, but we stay together as a team because we care about the idea. Anyway, back to the point. Someone has to take the lead in terms of sharing the vision, or as a group, you need to realign your vision so you all get what's going on. So that's where you come with the honesty and transparency part, telling the story, sitting down with people, present the idea and what you wanted to achieve, why you're here as a group today. Confirm the value drivers. Is everyone happy with the value, what we're going to do at the end of this, how we're going to break down the shares? Is everyone comfortable with that? Start breaking down the issues people face in this stage. Be more honest and transparent so people can open up more. Now, what this would naturally do is everyone would get comfortable enough to start saying what's really on their mind. And you go to storm and it's like, well, actually, I hate this. Okay, everyone, say what you hate. Be honest about it. Be clear about what you say. If it goes too far, then you start kicking in these team rules you guys have been working on slowly during your forming phase. So that's where the team rules comes in. You start working on, okay, we wouldn't accept this language within a group. We get that you're not enjoying it. Fair enough. Let's work on it. The team players not getting enough done, but really cool to be around. The lone wolf is getting a lot done, but doesn't talk to anyone and hates everyone. This is the stage where you start fixing it. This way you start adding those, team building activities. This is where you really have to do the work. And this is the hardest point. I promise you, once you're part of storming, smooth sailing, but it's the hardest point. And if you're able to recognize that your group is storming, that's amazing, because that what allows you to do is take an objective point of view. You don't get in your feels, you don't get emotional. You take yourself away from it and go, all right, it is what it is. It's fine. Let's approach this in a different way because it's going to be okay in the future. It's essentially taking the mindset of this too shall pass. So once you're getting a bit of leeway, things are working out, you're getting into normal stage, you then have to double down on it. Start thinking about how we can celebrate the small wins, the short to long-term goals. Now we're norming, let's start doubling down on it. Say well done when someone achieves a small goal, when someone does a marketing campaign, when someone in your marketing team launches an Instagram story and it's getting a lot of feedback. Shout out, amazing work. Sarah's our chief of marketing, she does great work and I try my best. Let her know that, yeah, that's amazing. There's been moments where we've missed some of the Instagram stories and she's gone, hey, I posted this, and we'll look and be like, oh, that's pretty sweet. Or it'll be a moment to reflect and be like, oh, what can we do differently? Make that success the focus for a bit. Let that person feel appreciated. Encouraging supporting network. How about you balancing sites? One person doing too much compared to the other. Now, Ollie does a lot of our tech work. And the worst thing I can do is now tell Ollie, okay, I know you're good at React, so also build our website. No, I split my business focus and my development skills. So I'll focus on the website. Ollie, you really need our next app to come up and running, so Ollie can focus his energy there. Now, Ollie's in a comfortable environment that he can work properly in, and we're balancing out the skill sets, we're balancing out responsibility. Our team right now is doing the best it's ever done. I trademarked Anxious Extrovert probably in 2018, so quite a while ago, and it's been a lot of mistakes up until this point. But finally, we're doing well because I finally started implementing what I'm trying to teach you today. It took me a while to do it. In the past year, this is what I've been trying to do. And I would say things are going quite well for us. We're making a lot of progress. We're hitting a few milestones here and there. We're celebrating our short-term goals because in the long term, we know it's just going to be amazing. So now in norming, we're double down on efforts. We're celebrating our wins. We get into performing. Everyone's really celebrating the wins. Everyone's really enjoying this. We're getting well rewarded. Every now and then you drift back into storming stage because something big will happen. But as a group, with enough people in the normal performance stage, it can usually drag the situation back into a positive end. You can keep working together. You can encourage collective decision making. Everyone is here together. Everyone knows that we're trying to achieve those goals. Hey guys, don't stop now. We keep winning. We keep doing well. We're smashing goals. We had a tough time last week. It's fine. We're here together as a group. When you're in the performance stage, everyone's endorphin levels is high enough to, balance out the negatives, and we can all have a good time. When things go bad, when the campaign doesn't go as well as we wanted to, rather than going, oh crap, it's terrible, start blaming people, we kind of just go, right, what could we do better next time? We're doing all right up until now. What can we do better next time? That's the mindset. And adjourning, you celebrate the accomplishments. Now, I am excited about the day I can, sit down with Sarah and Ollie at a table and just go, hey, we did it. We've reached this many people in our Evolve community. Our new apps have got this many downloads and interactions. We've got this many new partners working with us and collaborating with us. It's time to now set what the next stage is. What's the next vision of the business idea we're working on? What's the next plan? And we work on it together as a group, because we started as a group, we end it as a group. At this point, you fulfill the promise you made, whether it's, have you learned that skill that you came to learn here? Great. Are you now going to go into your new business idea, feeling fulfilled? Amazing. Or, in our case, shares. It's time to get this written down on paper. It's time to legalize this. I know we've got some shares right now. We're a limited company. Amazing. Let's do this properly. We said it will be an even split. We said we're going to split it in this way and that way. Okay, let's do it. Let's sign it on dotted line. Let's start paying dividends to people. Let's start rewarding everyone in the way we promised. That's what you do at adjourning, because what you then do is you have a situation where people trust you. You've confirmed it for sure that you do what you say you're going to do. And then they can help you in the next stage. If you do things right in adjourning, you don't lose as many people. In fact, you probably gain more people. You're in a position when you're probably ready to hire some, and then going to a level where everyone understands this process so well, they do it within their own teams in your business. This is how teams are built. This is how you have a C-suite of, CEO, CTOs and all these things, and they all have their own divisions. And as you go down, as the org chart spreads out, every team should be using this approach, should be using this mindset. So if you're able to learn this now, you're able to be the visionary, the spokesperson for this kind of approach, using knowledge sharing in the right ways, you'll be winning, because you're able to spread that through your business. And not only will your idea be amazing, not only will it be competitive, it will survive the competition in the longer run, because all your employees, all your team members, all your close networks all understand the vision, they all understand the goal, and they all understand how to work as a team. And that's what you can achieve when you implement knowledge sharing in the right ways. Now, a few rules for your first knowledge sharing session before you go, right? Because I'm hoping that you go and kickstart things, doing the Discord community, invite people over to Evolve, get people involved in the community that we have. As engaged learners or premium employers, use the ability to create your own chats. Start your first knowledge sharing in a virtual situation, which is a lot easier to get started, but I still encourage you to start meeting in person. I think in the world we live in now, we don't meet enough in person, and it's really good to do that. It's really good to get to know people, get to have that human contact that naturally we're used to, not just staring at me through a camera. I look forward to a day where we can, a live in-person session where I can book out a room somewhere, or I don't know, book out a stage, not just a Discord stage, but a real stage, and we can talk, and we can have panel discussions. I look forward to that, because I think that's really important. It's good to be around people. It's good to get out of your comfort zone and meet individuals in person. But getting back to the point, I got kind of future thinking there. I've got a big picture. Let's focus on the short-term goals. Yeah? Set a goal for your next session. So our next session after this will be a focus on motivating yourself to start a new skill, how to get yourself in the mindset to do things. Because there's one thing finding someone to help you build that skill. But, being able to fuel yourself to follow the rules, to follow everything. The next focus is something I've been implementing myself, and it's working well for me. So I really hope that works for you. I am currently doing my PhD, as well as working full-time as a product manager, and as well as putting every ounce of extra energy I have into Anxious Extrovert and Evolve. So we'll let you know when the next live session date is. You'll find out by email, by our socials. We'll take our learnings from this experience into the next one. Reducing the barriers of entry for the live sessions, reducing the steps required to get to it, improving how we present it, improving how our content is made, maybe giving ourselves a better lead time. There's lots of learnings we've taken from this experience that we're going to implement in the next one. The next rule is no idea is a bad idea. If you use this rule, you'll be able to do the transparency and honesty side of things a lot easier. And by that, I mean, just let people say dumb stuff, let people make fun of it, people enjoy being in a group together. One of the funnest things I like to do is just, as an example, just tell people you could say potato as an idea for a logo. I don't care. See what's in your mind, let it flow. So what you want to do is encourage people to just be in such a jovial, enjoyable environment that they're just opening up about their experiences. And then the next one is be open to pivots in the vision. You might have an idea and an approach of how things need to be achieved, but the important thing is what the user experience is at the end of your business idea. What's the experience outcome? If that experience outcome is fixed, how you get to it doesn't matter as long as it's effective, because the effectiveness of helping someone achieve their goals through your idea or whatever they intended to do through your idea is what's going to help you grow your audience. It's what's going to help you improve, reach more people. It's what's going to help you keep your audience, keep them engaged, trialing different ways to do it. Now, if someone said, I want to connect people together, but they came with the experience of, let me make an app where everyone can all just meet in one spot and connect together. That's the best way. That's the best way, I think, to connect people. So that's the vision of the product. Well, I'm pretty sure Facebook would just throw them away, or Instagram just throw them away, because what they did is really connect people with each other. But they didn't have to be meeting in person. That's an option that you can let your users organize through an experience that lets them communicate in whichever way they want, whether it's video, voice, or text, right? This is how a lot of these social media platforms work. So there isn't a fixed way to answering these questions. It's being open to pivots, being open to different approaches towards reaching that outcome. That's what makes it competitive. So you have to be open to other people pivoting it and changing the approach that you considered. And that approach could also include you being the leader, right? You don't have to be the only voice to be heard from. It's not about you. It's not about you being amazing and you being the best person in the world and you being a millionaire. And you can achieve all of that by making it about the idea and just being a part of it. If the idea is good enough, you will reach those goals. People will give you your flowers. People will give you the praise you've always wanted, if that's the kind of person you are. But make it about the idea. Let the idea shine. Now the session's ended, I can let you all know that in our first live session, we're able to give away discounts from our brand partner Skillshare, which was amazing. People got their 30% off for a whole year of Skillshare Premium, as well as a 30-day free trial. Learn the skills to improve your portfolio, boost your skills, and take your brand to the next level. And not just your business brand, your personal brand as well. Have a great day. See you next time.